What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports Dude Hine Show. Today is December 15th, 2021, and on today's video is a very special video. Today makes the 1-year mark of me creating this channel on YouTube. You know, I've always wanted to do sports content. I did a Bengals podcast before this, but it wasn't on YouTube. It's just on streaming platforms. I did this podcast for a little bit before getting on YouTube, and I could tell it's really helped me get more views and more content out there that other people don't normally get to see my videos and stuff. So today is the 1-year mark, like I mentioned, and in this video, we're going to be going over in my opinion, the top 5 moments of this channel's history so far. I'm also going to be doing the Joe Burrow Funko Pop giveaway. I'm going to be announcing that winner here in a little bit. So I mentioned top 5 moments. Here is number 5. Something that was very cool this year. I was actually able to get a personal invite from AEW, which, you know, is also All Elite Wrestling, to be in a press conference where Cody Rhodes had a press conference, and was also invited to one where Tony Khan had a press conference as well. This is Cody Rhodes' response when asked about Bray Wyatt possibly showing up in AEW.
Bray Wyatt was, before he was Bray Wyatt, was my rookie at that second season they did of NXT, and the Rotunda family and the Rhodes family, that they certainly go way back. I can't comment on if I see a spot for him when it comes to us, but I can tell you, an incredibly creative individual, an incredibly creative man. And whenever I see someone like that lose their job or you know, move into the next phase in their career, as someone who left WWE on my own, and at the time that was super unheard of to leave, I just always, I can't be everyone's sounding board, but I really want to be. Because, you know, I'll give you an example. I'll pivot away. I would have never thought that Matt Cardona was going to end up being this GCW champion and getting pelted with trash. But I should have thought he would be doing something. And that's kind of to circle back to Bray. I can't comment on if he fits in with us, but I can say if he has an ounce of passion for this, that guy can fit in anywhere. Because he's a very special talent. So that's really all I could say there.
And it was really cool to be in that press conference with Cody Rhodes, you know, obviously the executive vice president in AEW, former WWE, you know, wrestler. He was formerly, you know, also the TNT champion in AEW. Wasn't able to ask him a question, but it was really cool that I was able to get a personal invite from AEW to be in some of their press conferences recently. That's something, you know, this year that's been really exciting to, you know, participate in and everything else. Especially, it's really cool, you know, being a big wrestling fan and be able to be in these press conferences and everything. You know, there's been quite a few interviews on the show this year. You know, some of the guys, including Carl Mecklenburg, boxer Brian Maxwell, John Elmore, the Marshall legend, AEW wrestler Darby Allin, Fred Johnson, the offensive tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals, Jason Campbell, the former quarterback for the Washington Redskins, and also Sergeant Slaughter, the WWE Hall of Famer. So, you know, I'm really hoping this year I can get some more interviews. This upcoming year, I'm going to get some more interviews going in and everything. And also something else, I really want it to be more, you know, comedy and more entertaining as well. And me and my friend Braden, we've kind of started this, you know, thing around draft time. It was called 30-Minute Drill. We would just really make up stuff as we went. No script or anything like that. And we had 30 minutes to talk about whatever we want. And it was just funny. We would make up stuff. It'd be entertaining, funny stories and everything like that. So here, in my opinion, the 4th best moment of the year is me and my dad's embarrassing moment at an Orlando Magic basketball game. Now, I actually had a chance to go to an NBA game in Florida and seeing the Orlando Magic play the San Antonio Spurs. It was actually a preseason game. I believe it'll be 4 years ago in October since this happened.
Wow.
So that was our first game at the Orlando Magic, you know, in the Amway Arena. And, you know, I'm a big Celtics and Cavs fan. But, you know, when I was really young, I actually liked the Magic a little bit because, you know, I was a big Dwight Howard fan. And I always wanted to see the Magic play in Amway Arena. So that was our first chance, you know, going to that game. And we tried to meet some players to get autographs because me and my dad are big in the autographs and everything. And we're at I believe the Magic, you know, their, you know, tunnel and everything, trying to get some autographs. There's a couple guys who go up to me and my dad, you know, ask us if we want to, you know, kind of be a part, you know, of the game, kind of like a halftime show type of deal situation. And my dad said yeah, and I said yeah. So we thought, you know, everything was going to be fine and everything. Bad thing was, you actually had to be 18 to do it, and I just turned 17, so I was unable to do it. And so, you know, I wasn't able to do it, but my dad was. And so I think it was around in the middle of the third quarter. It was either the Spurs and the Magic called a timeout. And, you know, the thing that they had my dad do, you know, he was competing against somebody, was actually called, I think, like the Dizzy Bat Challenge or something like that. You bend down, you put your head on top of a bat, and you spin around in circles 10 times. And then you have to go run around to go make a layup. And, you know, the first person to do that successfully actually got free tickets for the season opener against the Miami Heat. So it was really interesting, you know, hoping my dad's going to win and everything. The guy he was actually going up against, you know, had Orlando Magic tickets, but his was near the bleachers. So, you know, he was really wanting to win those tickets. Me and my dad, we were just hoping to win the tickets to resell them to somebody because, I mean, we weren't going to be there. We're not even really Orlando Magic fans. So, you know, they get us to go down there and everything. So I'm able to record this video, and I'm going to show it here in just a second. The video is super, super shaky because I could not quit laughing. And the camera quality is really, really bad. But something before, my dad tells me right before he gets on the court, he's like, if I'm behind, just scream shoot, which makes absolutely no freaking sense. This arena is full of 20,000 fans. He's not going to hear some fat kid, chubby guy sitting down on mid-court scream shoot. So this is the video of my dad in the Orlando Magic San Antonio Spurs game.
Right around the corner, and tonight you're gonna get 2 Magic fans a chance to win 2 tickets to the game on October 26th against the Miami Heat. Now, these are my contestants, Jason and Tucker. They have to put their hand on the basketball, spin around 10 times, and attempt to make a layup at their basket. Now, we call this the Dizzy Ball Race. Whoever does so in the fastest time will be our winner. So, Magic fans, if you're ready, let me hear you say yeah! Let's go inside! All right, so spinning around. This is 2, 3. Remember, they have to spin around 10 times. All right, this number 6 right here. Go faster, guys, go faster, go faster! All right, let's have a nigga layup. Uh-oh, can you do it, can you do it? Can you do it? Congratulations! You're going to the All-Night on October 26th. We see the Miami Heat. Go fast!
As you can see, you know, that did not turn out what really me and my dad expected it to be. And, you know, looking back at that video, you know, every time we watch it, he claims that he spun, you know, 12 or 13 times. I've watched it several times, and I've counted that he's spun around 12. So the whole thing was basically rigged. You know, he should have already been, you know, going up for the layup. Instead, he's backpedaling, you know, like a corner at the NFL Combine. At the very end, he says he can do snow angels, and he's doing snow angels on the court. You can't really tell, but I mean, this is really cool for him to do it. And, you know, that was our first time ever at an Orlando Magic game. That's one that's definitely, you know, going to be forgettable, you know, going to that game. And my dad, I'm not going to say making a fool of himself, but kind of like the closest thing to it at the Orlando Magic game taking on the San Antonio Spurs. And I'm really hoping, this upcoming year, I'm going to have more, funny stories and kind of things like that, more entertaining topics and different things like that. I have lots of things, kind of planned out for this upcoming year. I'm really excited about it. And, I'm glad some of the stuff I was able to do this year. And something I was really kind of excited to do this year was an interview with Brian Maxwell. He's a bare knuckle fighter. Honestly, I don't really know much about, MMA and stuff like that in boxing. But when I heard Chad Ochocinco, Bengals legend, was going to be in a boxing match against Brian Maxwell, I knew I had to, try to get an interview with Maxwell because, everybody's talking about Ocho, but nobody really knows much about Maxwell. And in this clip here, he tells me kind of how he, came to be about him wanting to fight Ocho and how Ocho contacted him against their boxing bout back in June.
But, your match against Ocho on June 6th is one of the bouts that everybody's talking about. It's pretty much the biggest draw aside from Floyd Mayweather. Obviously, that is the main match on the card. So how did your match with Ocho come to be about, and how did that all start up?
I went to BKF 17 in Birmingham, Alabama, and, Chad actually sent me a message telling me he needed my help with something. And at first I didn't believe it was him until I clicked on his page because, sometimes on Instagram you get bots and fake profiles trying to sell you stuff or give you something for free and asking for your credit card and stuff. So I thought it was like a spam account, but I checked it out and it was his real account. And I wrote him a message back, was like, I don't believe this is Chad Ochocinco Johnson. And he sent me a video of him at his daughter's track meet and to prove that it was him, because he was like, why would I play like that? And he sent me a video and I was like, holy shit, this is Chad Ochocinco Johnson messaging me. And I end up getting busy with the fights, talking to some fans and taking pictures and signing a couple autographs and stuff. And I didn't think no more about it that night, but on the drive home from Alabama back to Virginia, he messages me again and sends me his number, like, call me. And I blew it off until the next day, and my active manager ended up coming to me while I was at work, and she said, I got something to tell you. And the first thing I thought was, something was wrong with my mom or my son, because I'm sitting there freaking out. I was like, is my mom okay? Is my son okay? And she was like, yeah, I guess they're fine, but we got a big opportunity. And I was like, what? She had just got off the phone with Nate Shook, the matchmaker of BKFC, and Mr. David Feldman, the owner, the CEO of BKFC. And she's like, we got a big opportunity. You want to know why Chad's been messaging you? Well, they're offering you a fight against him. And I just was like in awe. And, after she walked away and, to go handle some more business, I ended up calling Nate Shook, and he told me it's a big opportunity. It's a win-win situation for everybody. And do I want the fight? Do you accept? And I told him immediately, yes, sir. I want the fight.
How did Ochocinco kind of find you? Of all the fighters, how does he contact you to have a match with?
I've talked to him on the phone, several times after I found out that I was going to be fighting him, and he's called me and we've had phone conversations, and he mentioned that Jorge Masvidal mentioned my name to him, and that the Floyd Mayweather management team mentioned my name, and I still have no idea how they even know who I am. Like I'm still flustered and trying to wrap my mind around it. Like, it's crazy to me, but they I guess they got my name in their mouth, so I must be worth something. So we're here now, all contracts and medicals and all that good jazz to get the fight going is done, and we got 2.5 weeks till fight time.
It was really interesting, that match between him and Ochocinco. Nobody really knew what to expect between Maxwell because, at the time he wasn't really that well known. Nobody knew what to think of really Ochocinco because, he has, Instagram posts where he might be, boxing and stuff like that, but he's never had an actual, match. The match ended up, being a draw. It was a huge, match on the card. So the second biggest one aside from Mayweather and Paul. Kind of speaking of another former Bengal, I kind of said before multiple times, one of my favorite quarterbacks when I was little was Jason Campbell. He used to be one of my favorite quarterbacks before I really started, liking the Bengals and everything. And he was one of the first athletes I had in my podcast last year when I was trying to, build it up and kind of really get it first started going up and everything. And I was able to talk to him a couple months ago, about Auburn football, about Bo Nix, about the hiring of Brian Harsin, and lots of other stuff. And here, he brings a really interesting, thing I really did not know about until last year. Here he tells me about how the Cincinnati Bengals tried to convince him to come out of retirement during the 2015 season when Andy Dalton got hurt. And, your last year was with the Bengals, and you retired in June 2015. And, the first time you were on my show, you mentioned a really interesting thing I did not know about. And the Bengals tried to convince you to come out of retirement. Can you kind of talk about, how all that, situation came about and everything?
Yeah, they tried to talk me out. Andy Dalton got hurt during that year, the 15 season. He ended up getting hurt. And A.J. McCarron was the other quarterback that was on the roster. And, A.J. was there when I was there. And so, they called me because I've already had a connection with AJ. I already knew the system. And they were just like, hey, you come in, we can give you a week, 2 weeks to get ready and, get yourself back in playing shape and everything. And, we'll start off with AJ and see how everything goes from there, and then, see if we need to put you in or not. But and basically they wanted some depth at the position because all they had at that point was AJ left. And at that time, but I was like, Coach, I've been sitting out of football now for months. I'm going to be honest with you. I hadn't picked up a football. I hadn't touched a football. And I was just like, you talking about 2 weeks. Like, it takes you more than 2 weeks to get ready for football. You got to, lift and get, and all those different things. But, yeah, I told him, I said, I can't do that to myself. I was just like, I have too much, pride and honor of what I put out on the football field. I got to be able to live with that.
It was really interesting, talking to Jason Campbell, during an interview, I believe back in August. And, we kind of started talking about stuff. And, a big reason why he even came to the Cincinnati Bengals in 2014 was because, Hugh Jackson was the head coach when Jason Campbell was the quarterback with the Raiders a few years prior. And, since he already knew the system with Jackson, it made quite a bit of sense for him to come to Cincinnati, kind of towards the end of his career to kind of help mentor, and give advice to Andy Dalton, who was only a few years in the league at that time. And I really feel like the Bengals really kind of could have benefited from him in 2015. Obviously he probably would not have played much, but he could have gave, lots of advice to a young quarterback at the time like A.J. McCarron, who's making his first starts in the NFL. So it was really cool to be able to interview Campbell for the second time. He's one of my favorite players of all time. And it was really cool, talking about his, how the Bengals tried to convince him to come out of retirement. And I mentioned earlier in this video, I was going to name the winner of the Joe Burrow Funko Pop giveaway. I posted this on the, YouTube page, Sports Behind Show on Instagram and also on Twitter. I also posted this on my Bengals page as well on Instagram. So the winner of the Joe Burrow Funko Pop giveaway is Caleb_Vito. So congrats on winning. I'll email you and everything about the details. So congrats on winning the Joe Burrow Funko Pop. I'm trying to get one for myself as well. So number one, we've already talked about, the top 4 things, which 5 was, being in a press conference with Cody Rhodes. 4 was my dad and I's embarrassing experience at an Orlando Magic game where he had to do the Dizzy Bat Challenge. 3 was talking to boxer Brian Maxwell about how his match with OCHOCINCO all started out. 2 was Jason Campbell telling me how the Cincinnati Bengals tried to get him to come out of retirement. And here, in my opinion, which I really don't think this is debatable, on the number 1 moment of the year for the Sports Behind Show is Q&A thing. I was able to participate with AEW wrestler Darby Allin. Tons of top matches, like you had tag matches with Sting. There's so many top guys in AEW, like Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega. But who are some of your maybe dream opponents in AEW that you've not been able to wrestle yet?
I know it sounds weird because he literally just showed up, but I'd say Tommy M. Because I don't know, somebody like him who kind of has that creative side and he does stuff on his own. I really find that captivating. And I know that sounds generic because he literally just showed up Wednesday, but nobody gets my gears turning more than like him. Like, okay, like, we can do some stuff, and I think that would be lots of fun. Because I just like people that whoever shows up to work on Wednesday. I like the people that when they get home Thursday, their minds are still working. It's not a one-day job, like week, like job. You know, they do it like 7 days a week, and that's how my brain is. I can't stop thinking. So anybody else like that, that's passionate about that, I want to do work with. But everyone else that treats it like once a week, they can go to hell.
And, you know, this was easily the biggest thing for many reasons. You know, if you watch AEW, you know that Darby Allin is one of the biggest stars in AEW, and he's going to be for many, many years. And I was able to do this in Lexington, Kentucky, I believe back in July. And I was really excited, you know, to talk to him and everything. And I would say the biggest reason this is number one is because, honestly, this got lots of mainstream attention that I honestly did not think it was going to get. Some of the, you know, websites this was included on was sportskedia.com, fightful.com, wrestletalk.com, cultaholic.com, insidetheropes.com. There was lots of wrestling articles that talked about, you know, this Q&A I did with Darby Allin. This was also on Cultaholic's Wrestling YouTube channel, which if you've been to the YouTube channel before, you know that they have a ton of subscribers. They have over 650,000 actually 675,000 YouTube subscribers, and they were able to mention me on there. So kind of some free advertising on there, getting my name out there, you know, which is always good for somebody who's trying to build up his page and everything. So those were the top 5 moments of the year. The winner, once again, was of the Joe Burrow Funko Pop giveaway was Caleb_Vito. I have lots of content this upcoming year. I'm so excited about it. There's going to be way more entertaining, you know, videos. There's going to be more entertaining interviews. I'm going to be doing a, you know, path of the draft for each and every NFL team. So much content starting the beginning of the year. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Thank you all for liking my videos and commenting and everything. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all next time on the Sports Dude Hines Show.